Hello and welcome. I'm Blair Blackwell, and this is the Daily Cyber Brief. Here's today's rundown of the biggest cybersecurity stories you need to know today. Good morning. This is the Daily Cyber Brief for Friday, January 23rd. Let's start with what's moving the security landscape this morning. Targeted attacks on identity and single sign-on, a critical legacy service flaw with remote root risk, and fresh industrial control advisories touching transportation and manufacturing. On identity and access, Okta is warning that custom phishing kits tailored for voice-based social engineering are being used in active campaigns to steal Okta single sign-on credentials for data theft. It's a reminder that identity providers remain prime targets and that attackers are blending phishing, and brand impersonation to bypass human defenses. Meanwhile, on the email and collaboration front, attackers are actively exploiting an authentication bypass in SmarterMail to reset admin passwords and hijack administrator accounts, a classic foothold for lateral movement and data exfiltration. Turning to vulnerabilities, researchers disclosed a critical flaw in the GNU init utils telnet daemon that enables remote authentication bypass and direct root access, a legacy protocol issue that reportedly lingered for roughly a decade. If telnet services are still exposed, the blast radius spans from device takeover to deep network access. In parallel, Fortinet firewalls are seeing automated infections leading to malicious configuration changes and theft of configuration files, even on potentially fully patched devices, a worrisome signal for perimeter resilience and network segmentation. Ransomware also edges forward. A new family dubbed Osiris surfaced in a late 2025 incident, using a bring-your-own vulnerable driver technique with a malicious driver to disarm security tools, underscoring how kernel-level abuse continues to erode endpoint defenses. There's a countercurrent too. Researchers say an operational security slip by the INC ransomware group allowed recovery of data for a dozen U.S. organizations, a rare bright spot in an otherwise relentless extortion landscape. As an update to the developer targeting activity we noted earlier this week, researchers now report DPRK-linked operators abusing Microsoft's Visual Studio Code tunnels to route remote access through trusted infrastructure. It's a subtle evolution that blends spear phishing, developer tooling, and living-off-the-land techniques to reduce detection and extend persistence. On critical infrastructure, CISA advisories highlight three areas. Rockwell Automation's Compact Logic's 5370 controllers are vulnerable to crafted network messages that can trigger a denial-of-service condition requiring a restart. Schneider Electric's EcoStruxure Process Expert had incorrect default permissions that could allow privilege escalation when service binaries are modified. And in transportation systems, EVMAPA charging infrastructure faces multiple issues: missing authentication for critical functions, weak brute force protections that could cause denial of service, and session management flaws that could let attackers manipulate charging station status. Looking ahead, expect continued social engineering pressure on identity providers and help desks, active scanning for email and collaboration servers, and swift exploitation of legacy services where they remain accessible. Industrial operators will want to track vendor fixes and advisories as patches and mitigations roll out across controller platforms and EV charging networks. What to watch for today: identity and single sign-on platforms facing phishing-enabled phishing, cloud-exposed email and admin portals, perimeter firewalls and VPN-adjacent appliances, legacy remote access services like Telnet still present in networks, operational technology in EV charging systems, and developer tooling where trusted tunnels or extensions can be abused. The takeaway: the attack surface is shifting at the edges, identity, legacy protocols, and OT all under quiet pressure, while ransomware adapts with kernel-level tricks. The playbook remains consistent: reduce exposure, validate trust paths, and keep high-impact systems on a predictable update cadence. That's it for today's edition of the Daily Cyber Brief. Thanks for listening. I'm Blair Blackwell. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not cybersecurity, legal, or financial advice.